Hello everyone, today we are going to be talking about 5 different ways that you can step up your lettering game. So, okay, I get it, you're not quite a beginner, and so now you're looking for ways that you can branch out and maybe step it up a bit, add some fancy details to your lettering, so you are here at the right place. One thing that I love doing is adding shadows. So adding shadows adds a lot of depth and dimension to your lettering, and it really just makes it pop. So here I'm using a silver paint pen, and a lot of the paint pens that you use will deflect the water-based pens. So as you can see, when I'm lettering, the water-based pen for the shadow doesn't get onto the silver part because it kind of deflects it. So it's really nice in that way, and it really makes it pop and stand out. With shadows, you can use different colors. You can just do one shadow color. You can do just a gray color. So really, you can just test it out and see what you like. But as you can see, it really makes the word pop. Okay, so the second way is that you can add a background. So I love having a colorful background, and if you're familiar with my work, then I'm not typically like a plain Jane type of a person. I love color, and starting with a background can make a really simple word stand out, even if it's just written in black. So I also like using stencils, as you can see here. A stencil really also helps to accentuate your work. So just a simple stencil, I get mine off of Amazon, and it really helps to make the colors pop as well with the contrast of the white and the colored distress oxide. Now in this next piece that I'm about to show you, what I use to make the mask around the outside is called contact paper. And I'm a huge fan of contact paper because it does a great job of masking out that area. And I will leave a link to the contact paper that I use, but I use my Silhouette Cameo machine to cut out the shapes, and then I cut it out on the contact paper, and then it creates just a beautiful mask like that. And so I have a nice little frame or a border where I can write my word. Number 3 is going to be to add some metallic accents to your letters, or really it can be any kind of accents, but when you are writing with large brush pens like Karen markers, you want to make sure first that you fully let it dry before you add some accents. But when you use large brush pens, there's a lot of space on the downstrokes of those letters to allow you to add some sort of detail. Just some ideas of things that you can add would be dots, hearts, stars, lines. Really, the possibilities are endless. It's up to you. Be creative. Make it your own. And like I said, make sure your work is dry. I got a little impatient here and I started writing on it before the downstrokes were dry, so it does bleed a little bit. And even then, if you decide you want to add some other details when the ink is still wet, then you might get a really cool effect there too. So again, the possibilities are really endless. It's up to you and your creativity to decide what you want to do. On the T, I did like a stippling effect. I went from more concentrated to less concentrated at the bottom. And then you can add a line. And if you do it on all the letters, it looks really neat. Number 4 is going to be to stop just using white paper. I know that it's an easy go-to, but you can use different kinds of paper, and you can get a ton of really great results by using different paper. So try some metallic brush pens on black paper. This black paper pad is super inexpensive. I get it from Amazon. I will link it below. It's very smooth on your pens, and the thickness isn't super thick, but I make a lot of videos And so for the videos, it's perfect because it's not a final piece that I'm going to sell to somebody or anything like that. So I don't need a super thick paper for this purpose. There's also toned gray paper that you can use. There's craft paper. Really, like I said, the possibilities are endless. Next, I'm using my Caron Deco Brush markers on this craft paper. And like I said, just try different things. You honestly never know what might turn out amazing unless you test different things out. And I always try to use unconventional methods and test out different papers, and I've gotten some great results. And I haven't ever seen it done before. So I highly suggest you guys go out there and try it too, because you never know what you might come up with. Now I'll squeeze in the metallic pen on the craft paper. But like I said, just try out different things. Try out different papers. You don't know what's going to work. But I really actually like the metallic on craft too. So there's another good one for you guys to try out. Number 5 is to add a fun decorative border to your word. So you can leave some white space and it really makes the word stand out. And there's a ton of different things that you can do once you've added a border. You can add floral details around it. You can add patterns around it. You can add a shadow just to the border to really make the border stand out too. So there's just a lot of different things that you can do after you create a border. Just get creative and see what you can come up with. Now, typically, if I'm doing florals, I would do it around the entire word and not do a random floral here and then a shadow around the side. So I would continue with the florals all over, but just for time purposes, I'm just showing you a little bit here and a little bit there of what I would do. But I would continue with that whole entire theme around the entire piece. Remember that when you are adding shadows, I'm going to just add it to this border. You want to remember to always leave your shadows in the same spot. So for me, typically I always do my shadows underneath or down and then to the right. So it's just easy for me to remember that way. So stay consistent with your shadows in the directions that you choose for it to go, and that's what will really make it look like it's popping up as long as you're consistent. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video gave you ways that you can step up your lettering game, or just gave you some ideas that you can take and use for yourself, because sometimes if you're like me, you get bored with just one style, so you like to branch out and do other things. Make sure you tag me on Instagram if you choose to use any of these styles. I'd be happy to check it out.